So it's been about a week, about 6 days since I've recorded my last video. Just had a lot going on this week. I was traveling for the past 3 days. But the news cycle doesn't stop, history doesn't stop, and so here I am, back again to a significantly changed political climate. So this is from NBC News. President Joe Biden dropped out of 2024 presidential race. President Joe Biden announced Saturday that he will end his presidential re-election campaign, bringing an abrupt and humbling conclusion to his half-century-long political career and scrambling the race for the White House less than 4 months before Election Day. Biden, 81, could not reverse growing sentiments within his party that he was too frail to serve and destined to lose to Donald Trump in November. He backed Vice President Kamala Harris to replace him as the Democratic nominee. While it may have been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term, Biden wrote in a letter posted on X. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. Biden thanked Harris for being an extraordinary partner in his letter and then endorsed her in a subsequent post. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, Biden posted. And it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Biden and Harris spoke multiple times Sunday ahead of the president's announcement, according to a source familiar with the campaign. In a statement, Harris thanked Biden for his extraordinary leadership and his remarkable legacy of achievement. I was honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination, Harris said. I will do everything in my power to unite the Democratic Party and unite our nation to defeat Donald Trump and his extreme Project 2025 agenda, she said. So I admit I was a little bit surprised. Not incredibly surprised, but a little bit surprised. I heard it for the first time on the radio as I was cruising down the highway. And part of me was thinking that, no, the Democrats aren't going to do anything. They're going to stick to Biden like they've been doing. And that turns out not to have been the case. And I mean, I only say it was a little bit surprising just because at this point, Nancy Pelosi, it was reported Nancy Pelosi said to Biden, you're going to cost us the election. Apparently even Barack Obama came out or even Barack Obama was saying that, yeah, buddy, you got to step aside. So Chuck Schumer was saying it. There were signs. And the fact that both Pelosi and Obama particularly were saying that was when the light bulb went off, and I was like, okay, I think it's about Joever for Joe Biden, finally, and now it is. So all the debates people were having about should Biden be the nominee, is he cognitively capable of doing it, et cetera, those are moot at this point. And that's just how politics is. It's always changing. You got to roll with the punches and, see where the world takes you. So we'll see who is the final nominee. I think it's pretty likely that it will be Kamala Harris. And we'll also see whether Kamala Harris will win in the upcoming election. I mean, as you all know, I was skeptical that the Democrats, should do this Hail Mary. But they have. It's done. Biden is no longer a factor. I mean, he'll finish his tenure as president. And that will be that. So the United Front argument I was making for Joe Biden It applies to whoever the nominee is. So if it turns out to be Kamala Harris, then I will be arguing on this channel that we need a united front behind Kamala Harris. If it's somebody else, same story. I usually have some sense of how these elections are going to go. At this point, I can't say I really do. I think it's very much 50-50. I mean, she's younger. She doesn't have the questions about cognitive ability. I think many people would be pleased to vote for a Black woman, as well as an Indian woman. She's both. But she's also not super progressive. She's more or less a neoliberal establishment type. I don't think our policy around Israel will be very different from Obama's. She was a cop at one point, and many younger Democratic voters are very hostile to the police force. So who knows? I mean, it for me at least, it seems very much up in the air. I think she has a chance, but I also think it's possible that the orange man could squeak by as well. But anyway, long story short, Joe Biden will not be running for the re-election. It'll probably be Kamala Harris, and whoever the Democratic nominee is who we should be voting for.